Hello folks. Today I would like to talk about get-home bags and frequent flying. When you review the contents of most get-home bags, these two things don't exactly go together. And if you put the wrong thing in either your checked bag or your carry-on, you are guaranteed to have an interesting conversation with a representative of the TSA. So let's start off with the things that you can't take with you, either in your carry-on or your checked bags. This list does change, so make sure you verify with the TSA.gov website. Saying I saw it on a YouTube video won't go very far with your local TSA representative. This is also not a definitive list, but is based on what I normally carry in my get-home bag and what I know will not make it past the TSA. So, what not to check or carry on? Firearms and ammunition, number 1. Yes, you can check it if you have the proper paperwork, but it can be a hassle. And there is the danger of getting redirected to a less gun-friendly state where you could get arrested. This is a true story, so look it up. A gentleman got redirected and stranded at an airport. When he went to recheck his firearm with a different airline, he was arrested. To me, it's just not worth the risk. Next thing not to carry on, matches, wet fire, Esbit cubes, torch-type lighters are not allowed. However, they will let you take cotton balls in Vaseline, and they even sell the makings in the local airport stores. You can check a regular lighter provided it's in a TSA-approved container. That's this little yellow pill-shaped container there. But nowadays you can actually carry on up to 2 Bic-type lighters in your carry-on bag. Also, don't try to check any flammable liquids such as your MSR fuel cans or even carry them in your carry-on bag. Now there is a small category of things that you cannot put in a checked bag, but that you can carry on. And this is basically anything that has a lithium-ion battery in it. These have been known to spontaneously burst into flames due to a condition called thermal runaway. I guess a fire in the cabin is less of a worry than a fire in baggage. Items that possibly have a lithium-ion battery in it could be your phone, your laptop, a tablet, a GPS, a handheld ham radio, or rechargeable batteries. So the next category are some things that you can check, but that you can't carry on. This is basically tools or anything sharp and pointy. Things in this category might be a fixed blade knife or a folding knife, any type of survival saw, your multi-tools, hiking poles, tent stakes, little can openers, pepper spray, scissors, fire steel would all fall into this category. So, knowing these things, what do? First off, anything that is electronic or expensive, I try to carry on with me, if I can, in my backpack. With all the folks in the military service these days traveling around the country, I blend right in. Next, I have a hard-sided storm case that I check as baggage. Suitcases with zippers can be opened with a ballpoint pen even if locked. There are several YouTube videos showing this. I secure the case with a couple of TSA locks, and I also have an extra hole that I put a brightly colored zip tie through. This lets me know if the bag has been inspected or if some baggage handler has tried to gain access. The TSA will just cut this, but they won't have the right color to replace it. Also, when I pack the case, I put all the small items on the bottom, under the tent or the sleeping pad. This keeps someone from being able to reach in and pull the small expensive items out. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I secure the case in order to keep people from gaining access to it. First, make sure you put a lock on both sides of the case, and I'll show you why in a second after I get these on there. I have just one on here right now to show you. If you pop open the latches, on the one side it's fairly tight. I can just barely get my hand in. But on the other side where there isn't a lock, you can really open up the case and you really be able to reach in. The other thing I mentioned, that when you pack the case, you want to make sure you put all the small expensive items down on the bottom and then put something large on top of that. So as an example of that, we're just going to throw in some small items, a multi-tool, a fixed blade knife, and then a fire steel. So when you have all your small items in there that are expensive that you don't want people messing with, just drop a tent in on top of them, right? Get something big that kind of fills up to the top. Sleeping pad can go on the other side. Still have room for a small lightweight quilt, also fits in there. Now, when the case is locked, if my 2 TSA locks are still in place, even though they can open up the latches, they're only going to have about an inch or two to be able to reach in, or maybe even only an inch. We've all spent a lot of money on gear for our Get Home bags, and it doesn't do us any good if somebody's able to snatch it away from us. So that's just my advice for making sure that you have a hard shell case and making sure that you put the expensive items at the bottom. Kind of protect yourself from some unscrupulous baggage handlers or other people in the airport that might have access to your baggage inappropriately. Well, those are my tips for flying with a Get Home bag. What are your thoughts? Please leave your questions or suggestions in the comments field. As always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.